Hey, Space Cadets! Today we're diving deep into the Red Planet to debunk some Mars myths that have been floating around like space junk. From ancient civilizations who saw a fiery god in the night sky to modern-day sci-fi fantasies, Mars has always captured our collective curiosity. And where there's mystery, there's bound to be a few misconceptions along the way. Ready to get your Martian facts straight? Let's go! First up, the classic myth. Mars is just like Earth. I mean, sure, if Earth was a cold, desert wasteland with barely any atmosphere, Mars is more like Earth's weird cousin who lives in the Arctic and hates breathing. You see, folks, both planets started out with similar ingredients billions of years ago. Rocky surfaces, volcanoes spewing molten rock, maybe even liquid water flowing on their surfaces. But somewhere along the way, Mars took a different evolutionary path. Its magnetic field fizzled out, the atmosphere thinned, and liquid water, the key ingredient for life as we know it, became scarce. Now, Mars is a frigid desert with an atmosphere about 1% as dense as Earth's. To put that into perspective, imagine trying to breathe on top of Mount Everest. Difficult, right? Now imagine trying to breathe on top of 20 Mount Everest stacked on top of each other. So while we might find evidence of past life on Mars, maybe some fossilized microbes hiding in ancient lake beds, don't expect to see any little green men running around anytime soon. And for those of you dreaming of Martian vacations, pack a really good spacesuit. Next, let's tackle the Martian canals myth. Back in the 19th century, some astronomers thought they saw canals on Mars. It was an exciting time. Imagine, canals. Surely that meant intelligent life must be constructing these feats of engineering, right? Well, as much as we love a good alien conspiracy, this one turns out to be a case of mistaken identity. These weren't canals built by Martians. They were optical illusions, tricks of light and shadow playing on the telescopes of the time. Think about it. Early telescopes weren't exactly the Hubble. Plus, the human brain loves to find patterns, even where they don't exist. It's called pareidolia, and it's the same reason we see bunnies in clouds or Elvis in a grilled cheese sandwich. The Martian canals myth reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And now, my personal favorite, Mars is red because it's covered in chili powder. Yeah, no. As much as I love a good bowl of space chili, this one just doesn't fly. Mars gets its distinctive reddish hue from iron oxide. You know it as rust. That's right, the entire planet is essentially one giant rusty nail. Billions of years ago, Mars had water on its surface just like Earth. But unlike Earth, Mars lost its protective magnetic field. This exposed the planet's water to the relentless bombardment of solar wind, which stripped it away molecule by molecule. But before it disappeared, that water reacted with the iron in the Martian rocks, creating iron oxide, or rust. And since rust has a reddish hue, well, there you have it, Mars, the rusty, dusty planet. And finally, the boldest myth, we can live on Mars right now. Unless you have a spacesuit, a greenhouse, and a way to make water out of thin air, you might want to hold off on packing your bags. Look, the idea of humans becoming a multi-planetary species is exciting. It's a testament to our ingenuity and our desire to push the boundaries of exploration. But let's be realistic, folks. Mars is not some backup planet we can just move to when we've messed up Earth beyond repair. The challenges of living on Mars are immense. The thin atmosphere offers almost no protection from deadly solar radiation. And let's not forget about the lack of breathable air, the limited water, and the fact that Martian soil is toxic to humans. So while we're making progress towards sending humans to Mars, colonizing it is still a long way off. Next up, the Mars has forests and rivers myth. Some people think Mars is like a red version of Earth with lush forests and flowing rivers. Hate to break it to you, but the only rivers on Mars are dry riverbeds from millions of years ago. Now that's not to say that Mars never had water. In fact, there's overwhelming evidence that ancient Mars was once a much wetter, warmer place than it is today. But over time, as Mars lost its atmosphere, that water evaporated or froze beneath the surface. What we see today are the remnants of that watery past, dried up riverbeds, ancient lake basins, and perhaps even glaciers buried beneath the polar ice caps. What about life on Mars? The idea that there are little green men running around is fun, but highly unlikely. Scientists are still looking for signs of past life like microbes, but so far no Martian ants or space cows. The possibility of life beyond Earth, even if it's just microscopic, is one of the most profound questions we can ask as humans. And Mars, with its history of liquid water and the potential for harboring life in its subsurface, is a prime candidate for finding the answer. Now, we're not talking about finding intelligent civilizations here. No Martian cities, no Martian poetry, no Martian stock market. But what we are looking for are the chemical signatures of past life, evidence that simple organisms like bacteria might have existed on Mars billions of years ago when the planet was warmer and wetter. Think of it like this. If ancient Mars was a pot of primordial soup, we're looking for the leftover ingredients that might hint at the presence of life. So far, the search for life on Mars has been inconclusive. And here's a future-focused myth: Mars will be colonized by 2030. While space agencies are making incredible strides, turning Mars into a second Earth is going to take a bit more time. Think decades, not years. Let's be clear, sending humans to Mars is not like taking a road trip to the Grand Canyon. It's a monumental undertaking that requires solving a whole host of technological, logistical, and even ethical challenges. Think about it. We need to develop spacecraft capable of safely transporting humans to Mars and back, a journey that takes several months each way. And once they get there, we need to establish a sustainable habitat, develop ways to grow food in Martian soil, and basically create a miniature, self-sufficient society on a planet that's actively trying to kill us. So, while 2030 might be a bit ambitious for full-scale colonization, it's not an impossible dream. So there you have it, space explorers. We've debunked some of the biggest Mars myths out there. Remember, the truth is out there, and it's way cooler than fiction. Keep your feet on the ground and your eyes on the stars. Just because we've debunked a few myths doesn't mean the mystery of Mars is gone. In fact, I think it makes it even more intriguing. Every mission, every discovery, every piece of data we collect brings us closer to understanding this enigmatic planet. And who knows, maybe one day some of those myths we talked about today, like humans living on Mars, will become reality. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop looking up at the stars with a sense of wonder. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more cosmic content. Until next time, stay curious.